Hello, good morning. I hope that you have enjoyed the previous sessions, and especially the one from Tony Nadal, that is like a hero for us, no? Like an idol in Spain. No? Not only his nephew, but also himself. No? And he finished with a word in his presentation that was resilience. So I will try to talk to you something about that. So my position, although I work in the ministry, in the Spanish Ministry of Economic Affairs and Digital Transformation, what is a good name, by the way, I have been working for more than 30 years in the private sector. So I'm working for the government only for the last 6 months. So I can offer a different view, not only the view from the civil servant, from the people that is working internally in the government, trying to move papers and try to offer or try to move the economy, or offering the companies the possibility to use these kind of opportunities. But I suffer, and also I have been a responsible of a company that has been using this kind of funds that we are going to talk. And talking about resilience, the European Union created a fund, this big amount, probably the biggest in the history, for helping companies and helping complete countries to develop themselves and to combat against the pandemic, the COVID-19. That this was the original idea. Now you know that we have another issue with Ukraine. But in this movement of the recovery and resilience facility is moving a lot of money to all the European member states. So we are going to talk about one of the initiatives that the Spanish government has put in place. No? It's called Digital Spain 2025. And the idea is to promote the digital transformation of the industry, not only SMBs, but with a specific focus on them. So I think it's very interesting because it's a lot of money. So I'm not going to talk to you about technology or trends of the market. I'm going to talk to you about opportunities. That is a lot of opportunities now coming from EU funds. And the real difficulty is how to put this into the real economy, how to move these funds, and how to get the companies involved on that. So this Digital Spain initiative has 10 strategic axes, and it are split into 10 goals. You have here the information. The first one is connectivity. So it's a lot of initiatives to expand the internet access to rural areas or remote areas, or offering even higher bandwidth for connectivity. Then the second is promoting 5G technology, because 5G, you know, is one of the drivers of the new economy, and Europe needs to be involved since the beginning, not like with 4G that we were too late. And in fact, we are working in Europe about 6G. So the third point is digital skills, because training the people, the talent, is key for managing these opportunities. Fourth is cybersecurity, then digital transformation of the public sector. And we will be focused now on the number 6, digital transformation of businesses and digital entrepreneurship, so mainly startups and so on. 7, we have some more key sectoral digitalization projects. Spain Audiovisual Hub Plan, in order to get some centers in Spain to concentrate opportunities, companies like a cluster that can create opportunities on an ecosystem for promoting this business. And the data economy and artificial intelligence, of course, we have been working something about that. And digital rights. So in terms of where we are and what is the goal, what is the target, you can see here the 10 axes and the situation in 2020. and then the goal for 2025. So the idea is even some of the goals are really very challenging, because moving from 89% of population in the coverage to 100% is like a challenge, no? Like Tony Nadal said, no? It's not, maybe it's easy to go to 99%, but 100% is really challenged. So there's different goals for every each of the strategic axes. And regarding the number 6, digital transformation of businesses, we are talking about that the contribution of e-commerce to SMBs or SMEs is less than 10%, or was less than 10% in 2020. So the target is to increase this percentage of the sales through the channels, through the e-commerce channels, up to 25%. Let's focus on the number 6, digital transformation, as I explained before. So there are some points here regarding this strategic axis in Spain. The two first ones in yellow are the ones that we are going to discover here, and the other in white are mainly focused to startups or to entrepreneurship. So the SME digitalization plan has some dimensions, some transformation dimensions for a successful digitalization of the companies, and it's based in different concepts. No? You can see here this the digital strategy and culture. That is really important. The culture is something that sometimes we are not focused on that, but it's something that we need to try to change, and not only putting money on the hands of the companies or on the channel. Customer experience, every day more and more important, is the traction that is who is moving finally the demand. So sometimes we are focused on the middle of the process, and we forget the final one, the final step, that is the customer. So customer experience is really key in this kind of projects. The organization, communication, and skills, again, very important, oriented with the talent. Product and services, that you are experts on that. So you are offering, many of you are vendors that are specialists on some specific services. And so the challenge here is how to communicate and how to move these products or to get the right customers for your products. Infrastructure and technology, that is probably one of the most demanding items for the infrastructure of telecommunications and internet access, and processes also, because in these plans are also very important to promote the digital transformation of every business. So the process is important, and the tools to improve that process are key. Here you have, I don't know if you can see the numbers or not, I can give you some ideas. This is the distribution of companies by number of employees in Spain. So obviously we have many companies without employees. This is not ghost companies, it's self-employed people. Probably it's one of the countries with the biggest number of companies like this. And then the main part is in micro companies from 1 to 9 employees. And then attracts this, the employment represents around 21%. So if you are focused on this split, you can see that almost 98% of the number of companies are in charge of most of the business. No? So the business is focused on small companies, at least in Spain. No? It's a trend that is changing a little bit, but not really so fast as we can expect in some other countries. In terms of innovation, there is some survey about how the companies see themselves as innovators. So there's, of course, companies that are big companies with more than 250 employees. They can be defined as innovative companies in around 25%, compared with 19% in the companies with less than 249 to less than 250 employees. So it means that there is at least the companies less than 250 people is 1/3 less innovative than the big ones. No? So this is the target for these kind of initiatives. Try to improve these figures. Here you can have, you have different a chart with different countries in the member states, where in the middle is EU, is the average, and Spain is exactly in the same position. So Spain is in the middle, in the average, compared with some other countries in Europe. So, well, if we see this chart, we can say that Spain is not so bad in terms of business digitization or in terms of e-commerce. But normally you have to enter into more details if you want to understand what happens. So if you split these categories into more detailed concepts, you can have here some figures about Spain and the European Union. And if we are focused on the last two columns that are the most recent data, we see that talking about electronic information sharing, Spain is in much better position than the average of the European Union. It's the same in terms of social media. We are more or less in the average in big data, in selling online, in this case for SMEs, and in e-commerce. But, well, there's also some things to improve. Big data is also one of the key parameters to attract the business, to detect opportunities, and to transform your companies. So it's important that we put the resources where they are needed. This is the figures in talking about the SME digitalization plan in Spain. We are talking about 4.6, this is like a comma, it's 4.6 billion euros. This is the figure that is assigned for the SME digitalization plan in Spain. So from the big numbers from Europe, then these figures goes to Spain. Spain receive from this 750 billions receive, or at least ask for around 70 billions, but in a period of time. So if we decrease, go down, and then enter into different plans, and if we finally arrive to the SME digitalization plan, we are talking about 4.6 billion. That is a huge amount of money, by the way. So here the real problem is how to transfer these funds to the real economy. And don't forget that by principle, state aids are forbidden in Europe. So only some exceptions are approved, or only some, there are some ways to get the approval from the European Commission to transfer this money to private companies. So sometimes the challenge is to find a way to do it properly and to avoid some delays, because here what is important is not only the amount of money, it's also really important how fast you transfer those funds from the European Union to the real economy, to the companies. So it's critical to avoid any delay. So all the mechanism of state aids is something very serious and can stop all your initiatives if you are not doing it in the right way. Here we will see that in this case we are using one of the exceptions to this plan. So the idea is to go fast. this plan, this SME digitalization plan, has 5 axes and 16 measures. So it's split into 5 different groups and with some planned actions. All this information is in English and is transparent, is accessible. So you can find all this information in internet in English. So this is something a little bit strange because, you know, in Spain it's difficult to have documents in the tourist sector. Of course, there's a lot of people that can speak English, but in the industry, in the technological industry, yes, it's okay. But in terms of the administration, it's a little bit rare to find this kind of information in English and so transparent. So I think it's a very good idea what the Spanish government is doing, trying to promote the information in a transparent way, trying to help the companies, and not only the companies that are going to receive the funds, but also companies like you that maybe you are interested in collaborating with a Spanish company, or you are a Spanish company, or you have some business here, and then it's also good that you understand what is happening, how to achieve the targets, how to get these funds. So these axes are, the first one is basic, this digitalization for SMEs is the main one, with 4 different measures. And the star, so the number 1, is the Digital Kit program. So it's what is called Digital Toolkit. So it's a bunch of initiatives that you can select, and then you can buy, and the government can fund this up to a certain level, no? This implementation of these solutions. Then supporting change management, that is, again, related with the skills and with the people that is going to manage this. Disruptive innovation and digital entrepreneurship, because a startup is one of the solutions that Spain is trying to find, one of the ways that Spain is trying to boost to get results in the new digital economy. And then supporting sectoral digitalization. So the idea is also to focus on some specific sectors with high traction, like the tourist sector, that, don't forget, is the number 1 in Spain in terms of GDP. And then the coordination efficiencies and reforms with some laws that are helping to create the full ecosystem. In terms of figures, the digital toolkit means 3 billions. So it's probably attracting the most of the budget, and is the real challenge, no, for that. There are some other initiatives like Acelera Pyme, that is creating some offices to help the companies to understand how to prepare the paperwork, how to identify, first of all, their own situation, and how to find some suppliers, some vendors that can provide them with the right solution, and many others in terms of the different access. No? Here you can also have the list of the ministries involved. It's only 2 in this case. METD is where I work, is the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Digital Transformation, and Mincotur is the Ministry of Industry. So this is the information, the last published information is with some figures, some information about the March this year. But you can see, well, the idea is that this project started on March, around March last year, and with different initiatives, different solutions, and finally, now we are in a position of around the 30% of the total project, because we have just published the catalog of digitizing agents that are the companies in charge of offering the solutions to the SMEs. And well, this is the information that is published now. Now the real information is that this is a little bit much more advanced, with a lot of applications already filled, already put in place, and also some of the first digital toolkits aids already deployed, already given to the digitizing agents. Acelera Pyme is the initiatives to create these offices or these points and try to help you to get all the information and help to boost the results. Because one of the key problems is that this huge amount of money needs a lot of paperwork. And unfortunately, at least in Spain, we need a lot of paperwork for everything. So one of the initiatives is to try to reduce the paperwork, try to be more efficient, and try to find some professional companies that can help the SMEs to get the results that they are trying to look for. These are some examples of the material, printed material or design computer graphics that have been designed for helping the companies. Again, it's in English. So the company that is in charge is red.es, is an entity, it's a public entity that belongs to the government that is in charge of this program. So there's some different access where you can get the solutions. And if you are looking for solutions in terms of digital strategy, organization, technology, cybersecurity, or processes, or helping you in the sales and digital channels, you can have a lot of solutions in this catalog. This is the steps that from the registration to finally getting the test, because one of the key points here is, first of all, you need to know where you are. So where you are in the digitalization process. So you can go to a company, agent that is going to help you, but you can do it by yourself. So you can enter into the website of the government, and you can answer, you can find this information and answer some basic questions, and then finally you can have a test. It's a self-diagnosis test. And then with this, you have, is the first step. It's mandatory to have this test. If not, you cannot go further. But once you have this, at least you have an idea of what you can do. Then you have to design your own roadmap in your strategy. Sometimes it's difficult because for SMEs, you know, talking about strategy sounds very nice, but it's not so easy. They are very busy in the day-to-day work. They are not really, they don't have resources, they don't have time. And especially after the crisis, the pandemic, they are trying to survive. So talking about strategy for the future when you are trying to not to close your business is really hard. So, but at least you have a clear roadmap how to do it, and if not, you will have some help. So this is the key message. This is Acelera Pyme offices are the support points. So more than 90 offices has been created to help, but also you can find all of this information in internet. So if you are worried about that, if you are a company, that you are a customer, that you want to transform your company, you can find a lot of information. But if not, there is another way, that is the way that I'm trying to push here, that if you are vendors, if you have your own channel, maybe you can be or not a digitizing agent, but at least you can push the companies, your channel in Spain, to find customers, to offer the solutions, because the digitizing agent can prepare all this paperwork, can prepare all this process, and help the companies to receive these funds. As I told you, the STAR is the Digital Kit program, who is managing most of the resources, and it's really very easy, step by step. So you need to register, first of all. You need to pass the self-diagnosis test. Then you have to consult the catalog of the solutions previously approved, and the list of agents that has been also previously approved. And then you have to select one of these, sign the contract with them, and the solution comes from the agent to you, and the money goes from the government to the agent directly. So it's easy, and it's well, the idea is that should be fast. This is the limits of phases and scope. So it's split into 3 phases, depending on the size of the company, and it's a maximum amount of grants for every company. So 12,000 euros for the bunch of solutions that you have to select. But you cannot put all the money in one solution. So you have to select, and there's a maximum depending on the categories of digitization solutions. So you can go to different points. What is important is the service duration is 12 months. So you have around 6 months to start and then 12 months to implement. And you are going to receive grants or money for these 12 months. What will happen after 12 months? Nobody knows, but we hope that most of the companies that has invested on the time and the resources on that will continue. No? This is the situation of the Acelera Pyme complete program. And what is important is that now has been 500 million euros has been allocated for this first phase of the digital toolkit for companies between 10 and 49 employees. Later, the other companies will come. Before the end of the year, there is the expectation to have all the phases in place. So that's it from my side. I hope that is, with the short time that we have now, I hope that this is clear for you. And if you have any question, I'm happy to reply here or later, if you prefer.
So, first, thank you. I never saw so much photos being taken on such a regulation item. So, congratulations that you really.
It's a public information, so you can find this by yourself.
Yep.
I don't know. Yes, please. No, I'm talking only about Spain and only about the digital, the phase 1. Phase 1, that means companies between 10 and 49 employees, is 500 million euros allocated for that. And the expectation is to have around, the original expectation was to receive 45,000 applications. And nowadays, they have received, the ministry received more than 50,000. So it's a high impact. In fact, the problem now is how to get much more funds to, well, because sometimes you create an initiative and nobody is interested. But no, it's not here. It's 12 months. So you have to implement this. This is going to finance you the solution during 12 months. After that, you can continue by yourself or you can do whatever you want, or maybe there's some more funds in the future. But, you know, public funds are a good idea, but the idea is to start to boost the market, and that the companies should get the results from themselves, from applying the technology, and then they should be convinced to pay for the service. So here, life is not free. You know?
Some more questions.
Okay.
So if not, then I thank you again. I see a lot of business plans on this side. Yeah. Thank you.